Alright, let's get started.
A normal chap asks, are you planning on bringing the Survivor Series 2002 arena that is in Here Comes the Pain to Shut Your Mouth Definitive Edition, considering it takes place in 2002?
Yes, for the 2002 and 2003 pack, it will start with just the tires, and then as we go along with updates, there'll also be arenas. So I'm looking at Survivor Series 2002 will definitely be in there. The cutoff point is going to be Armageddon 2002 or WrestleMania 19. I haven't decided yet, but I'm leaning towards more WrestleMania 19 because I've already made a Hollywood Rock. I've already made WrestleMania 19 Jericho, Triple H, and a few others for Smackdown Shut Your Mouth exclusively. I'll post some screens soon. So yes, you will get a Survivor Series 2002 in a future update for the 2002 to 2003 pack.
Psycho9 asks, if Devon is in his Dudley attire, will he not be acting like Reverend Devon in the season?
Funny you should ask that. I actually saw a couple of threads. I'm trying to think where they were. One was definitely on Reddit, where people were talking about other cutscenes they've got, and in one of those threads somebody was talking about getting Dudley Boy cutscenes as well as cutscenes with Devon when he was still Devon Dudley, and not acting like Reverend Devon at all. That's because I took the pre-release build and the release build and the preview build and basically smashed them all together. So that's why there's still quite a few bugs in version 1. But for the most part, from what I've been seeing, the reaction to playing season mode is way more fun with the attires and I suppose with the attire placement and positioning and having all your stables intact rather than what was shipped on the retail disc.
Danny Bear asks, I have some questions for the 2002-2003 SmackDown Shut Your Mouth version. Will Albert have an A-Train attire? Matt Hardy V1? Big Show 2002 with pants or No Way Out 2003 attire? Will Chris Benoit, Billy Gunn, Chuck Palumbo and Test have a 2003 attire too? Also, will we get Superstars themes and Titantrons that aren't in this game or Here Comes the Pain but were around 2002, 2003 like Jamie Noble, Chris Nowinski, D'Lo Brown, etc, etc? Sorry if I've asked too much, but I'm a huge fan of SmackDown Shut Your Mouth in the late 2002-2003 era of WWE. The first trailer of Here Comes the Pain looks so much like Smackdown Shut Your Mouth. For me, it's like a dream come true to update Shut Your Mouth to 2003. Also, sorry for the bad English, I'm French.
Thanks for the question, Danny, and don't worry about your English, it was absolutely great. The great thing about pro wrestling, or one of the best things about pro wrestling, is how diverse it is. And from a global standpoint, how many of us can all connect with each other through the love of pro wrestling as a sport, a hobby, and whatnot. And we can all share stories and love and reminisce about certain time periods in pro wrestling that we really like, or all share in a big moment of how amazing it is. It's the beauty of sport. Everybody can understand and come together over it, and I think sometimes we lose sight of that. Okay, first of all, yes, all the guys you mentioned, from A-Train to Matt Hardy, so on and so forth, they will all have 2002 to 2003 attires. So when you start the game, their renders, their music, their Titantrons, everything will be changed to 2003. And yes, for Create a Wrestler, I will be including a whole bunch of extra theme songs for wrestlers that aren't in the game that you want to maybe create, like a D'Lo Brown or a Chris Nowinski or Rey Mysterio or whoever else, as well as include a few Titantrons where there is space.
Dominic Smith asked a couple of questions. Number 1, you mentioned the first Shut Your Mouth mod will not feature correct WWF logos / the Roy's War 2001/2002 stage, but will feature on the second version. As these are features I'm most looking forward to for Shut Your Mouth, the WWF branding, I'm wondering when the second update is most likely to come that features the WWF logos / Raw 2001 stage.
Right, so the WWF logos for the arenas will go straight into version 2. So basically the next version that is out with the 2001 to 2002 attires will also have the WWF logo all over the arenas. Then the next version on, we will have arena updates. So Roy's War 2001, there'll be a fully loaded arena and a few other things that I've done. So yes, arena changes will be in the next update for that version. Consider that version 1 of the 2001 to 2002 pack, but obviously version 2 overall.
And question 2, When Update 2 does come out regarding the WWF logos, will the ring aprons have the WWF.com on one side and the pay-per-view logo on the other as it was back then? Many thanks if you can answer and clarify these. Stunning job. Looking forward to replaying the Invasion era with this.
Yes, some arenas will have the WWF.com logo, others will just have the big WWF logo because some of them didn't use the .com logo, they still had just the big WWF scratch logo. So we'll do that, and obviously they'll have the pay-per-view logos on the sides that had them with the WWF instead of the WW logo. So there you go. And thank you so much for your kind words.
Anti-Patton asks, very nice work. Does Here Comes the Pain have Kane's slow chemical theme? Been dying to have that in there. And there's a few follow-ups. Will the 2001 Shut Your Mouth save have the Uncle Kracker X Factor theme? That's another theme I'd love to have. And should you finish SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 Definitive Edition? I will. Will Christian actually have his logos on his tights like he did in the original SVR? Always bother me they removed them when he left.
Yes, for the 2003 update for Here Comes the Pain, Kane will have Slow Chemical. As far as Uncle Kracker on SmackDown Shut Your Mouth goes, Uncle Kracker was in SmackDown Shut Your Mouth Definitive Edition. However, when I read the YouTube comments, a lot of people were complaining about Uncle Kracker and wanted the version after that of the X Factor theme, which is the instrumental. So I replaced it with that version. But so what I will do is for the 2001-2002 pack, I will put Uncle Kracker back in because I do actually like that. And then we'll see what the response is, and if people don't like it, we'll take it out and we'll put the other one back in. I don't know. If you have a preference, Uncle Kracker or the instrumental, leave a comment down below just so I know and I can gauge which one is more popular.
Brian Tobar asks, I wonder if there was any trace of Chyna in Just Bring It. She left just as the game was in production.
The only trace of Chyna was that she was a name on a list in a very early build of Just Bring It. But as I've said before, names on lists never mean anything. They're never an indicator that someone was going to be in a game. Ukes and THQ would usually list the entire or almost the entire WWE roster, and WWE would work with them and whittle that roster down till we found out who was actually going to be in the final roster and it would go into development. So there's that. There is also a Howard Finkel voice recording. However, though, when Howard Finkel was recording voices back then for Just Bring It, he did a whole bunch of people that was likely on that list, which then were never going to be in the game, such as Mankind, Cactus Jack, D'Lo Brown, so on and so forth. So that's all there is of Chyna. But there will be textures for Chyna in the Creator Wrestler in the next update for SmackDown Just Bring It Definitive Edition. So there'll be loads of textures for other wrestlers for you to recreate and use, and I have tons of Creator Superstars.
Mohammed Mahfouz asks, SmackDown vs. Raw 2005 rebuilding mod video?
Very soon. Rebuilding SmackDown Episode 5 will be SmackDown vs. Raw. That will debut maybe end of February or very, very early March. So not long now, and yes, you will see all the Here Comes the Pain guys in SmackDown vs. Raw.
Naam asks, is it possible for you to remove some sort of restrictions in the GM modes of SVR 2006, 7 and 8, like the roster cap, titles, etc.?
Yes. While I haven't done it with 2007 or 2008 yet, I have done it with 2006, so the roster cap is increased. However, I don't know what you mean with titles. Do you mean change the titles? Like, instead of having a women's title, have maybe, say, a European title on one show or something like that? I would like that. I haven't actually looked into doing it yet. But I did it for Universe mode on WWE 13 and up. So I'm pretty sure it should be the same process. So I'll have a look into it.
Imal McCrate asks, sick stuff, bro. Any plans for WWE 13? Inevitable Death replied with, only possible idea would be for an uncensored mod. WWF logos on the Attitude Era arenas, uncensored WWF in story mode dialogue, fixing attire inaccuracies, etc. But that isn't really worth all the hassle in my opinion.
Funny you should say that. I'm actually finishing a WWE 13 mod that I started making back, I think, when the game first came out. The modern superstars, they're not current era anymore. The modern superstars are all gone. It's basically the whole roster, well, not the whole roster, but a lot of the roster from 1997 all the way to 2001. And all the arenas have correct WWF logos. So yes, you have that. Other changes such as the white Intercontinental Championship that was what WWE was using at the time has been replaced with the blackstrap big Intercontinental title that Austin threw into the river when Rock had it. So not the first Intercontinental title, which had the red WWF, or it's basically the one with the sort of duller colors, which I think, when did that get introduced? Mid-90s. Yeah, so that IC title replaces the white belt IC title. There's a whole bunch of neutrons in there because obviously I replaced the whole bunch. And then my other plan is to do a Monday Night Wars mod on WWE 16 for PS3 and 360. But I've done bits and pieces to it, but not much. So we'll see. Maybe I'll finish that one. I don't know yet, but I'm definitely doing WWE 13 and putting that out because it was started a long time ago and I just feel like I may as well finish it.
Colton asked, have you seen New Legacy Inc. do the video on your definitive edition of Here Comes the Pain? P.S. Sorry to bring up other YouTubers. They really like your type of stuff. You do, and I would love to see a collab of some sort.
Yes, actually, I mailed New Legacy probably when I started YouTube probably 4 months ago about doing a collab, but then I got buried with work and things I had to do, so gosh, keeping up Rebuilding Smackdown, the response to it was so big that I had to add more time into it, and then I had stuff going on at home. My roof got damaged. I had to deal with that, which I'm still dealing with now. The election was called, and then I had to campaign for that. So I was doing so much. I didn't have time to sort of get back to them about what I wanted to do. But I wanted to do a collaboration with them and a few other YouTubers as well, because I had an idea for something. So hopefully that happens sometime this year.
Daryl Jasons asks, Dragon Ball content soon?
Yes, real soon. There will be a Dragon Ball documentary dropping, I think February. I'm hoping February. I'm in the middle of editing it. I filmed it sometime last year and got all the stuff together. I might actually want to do a few more shots. It's actually going to be a lot more creative than, I guess, the Rebuilding Smackdown episodes. But yes, Dragon Ball documentary is coming. I'm also doing a full script rewrite for Dragon Ball Kakarot for PC. So there'll be a big PC mod which changes the script somewhat so that the subtitles match more akin to Steve Simmons' translation rather than some of the real bad English, I guess, dub lines that are there that just, I suppose, don't make sense. Some of them aren't even correct. There's a few spelling mistakes and things like that. So yeah, all of that being cleaned up. I actually started on that this past weekend. So while that might not be soon, that's also coming. And then, yes, I will have more Dragon Ball content in the future.
Thomas Delizia asks, I hope you can do a Budokai 2 undub. Keep up the great work.
Budokai 2 undub for PS2 is on the way. If anyone here hasn't actually checked out my Budokai 1 undub for PS2, just check out my YouTube video of it, and there's a download link in the description. It's still a test version. I made it, put it out there, and then wanted some feedback on it. I didn't really get much on it, but if anyone is interested, it is there. I realized that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot just came out, so everybody's probably playing that and has no interest in Budokai 1. But if you get time and want to help out with that, just tell me, is there lines missing? Is it erroring out or bugging out anywhere? Do let me know, because I don't have time to actually play that game from start to finish. Anyways, enough of me going on a tangent. If you like this video, please, please, please click that thumbs up button and share the video. It really helps me out. If you haven't already, please subscribe. 60% of my audience still isn't actually subscribed, so please do. That really helps me out too. If you can support me on Patreon, please do at patreon.com/ScottJay. Next video up will be Rebuilding Smackdown Episode 4, Smackdown 2, Know Your Role. And until next time, guys, be good to each other and take care.